Mic check. Mic check. Like we're getting mic. Good. Stand by. Fantastic. Thank you, Atlam. Already started. It looks really dark. Does the stream look a little dark to you, Atlam, or is it just me? It does look a little dark, doesn't it? I'm just going to play with the settings for a moment. I wonder if my configurations reset a bit. Honestly, like, and there's lights all around this, and on my screen it looks fine, so take a look. If I can quick fix. Little brightness. Gamma. Nope. Okay. That looks a little bit better though, doesn't it? Hope you can hear and see me still. And I'm just double checking. We're live on all feeds, so we're good. Sorry about the random wanting to fix that. I just wanted to make sure it was good for the rest of the stream. A little better? It looks a lot better to me. It's a nighttime in this map, so it's bound to be a bit dark. But I'd say overall it looks a lot better. Dude. It just was coming through a little dark for some reason. I don't know. Anyway, I could play around with it in a couple spots and kind of mess with it and make it a little brighter. But anyway, I think overall it's good now. So welcome one and all to the Mapmaker Monday stream. My name is Mac. I am the community manager for Dungeon Alchemist. Every Monday we host a stream where we build a map live, and you can tune in, watch us build the map, and ask questions about Dungeon Alchemist, and learn in AMA format, which means ask me anything. So as long as you have questions related to Dungeon Alchemist, please let me know, and I will do my best to provide you real-time guidance with your concerns. Whether you need help with, map creation, exports, or you just, want to talk about your tabletop gameplay sessions, a good stream to tune into. Throughout the stream, we'll be adding decor and detritus to the grave sites to kind of make it seem like, they're visited by people and things are left there as kind of a, remembrance, maybe on the anniversary of their death, or maybe they come and visit weekly. Who knows? It's different for everybody. Hey, Chim, how are you doing? Welcome back. Welcome back. Hey, Polaris. I didn't even see his first message. I just see your reply to his, so I'm glad you said that. Alrighty. So, I think I kind of went through this section and added some stuff. We got some ivy, some items. My weekend was pretty laid back. No, that's this upcoming Sunday. So this, on the 14th is when I get to play. So this weekend, I mostly just kind of relaxed. I did some things around the house. I moved some of the totes in my house out to the garage into my new like tote storage rack I built. And I kind of cleaned up in my entryway. So the entryway used to be kind of our living room, kind of family room area. And we moved it to the other side of the house where there was another space because we wanted to turn that into like a gym and a craft area because it was a big open area and it'd work for it. So we have like a little kind of like a bunch of mats laid out, and we have, you know, what is it? Like a workout bike and some, you know, weights and, you know, different yoga stuff, and there's like an inversion table for stretching, and then also a weight set that's like a bench, you know, for bench press and inverted press and stuff like that. So we will work out there, you know, when we try to work out. And then on the other side of the room, it was just storage. There was just tons of totes and crap there. And so we've been cleaning it up because my wife wants to make it into like a craft space where her like sewing stuff is and painting, all her stuff. Anyway, so that's what I've been kind of working on in me spare time. So yeah, that was my weekend. It's kind of boring, I guess. So I'm just trying to remember where I was. Getting ready to decorate for the holidays. I have a kind of a rule. I don't decorate for the holiday until that month is started. I grew up in a home where my mom wanted things decorated like way in advance, super fancy, and it was always so stressful, and kind of as a young teen, it was irritating, to be honest. So I kind of am in the mind, like, we do decorate, but it's like that month. You know what I mean? So for Halloween, we do it like the first of the month, the first week. Or, you know, other holidays. Holidays. You'd cleric all over this map. Geez, like in the 5e world, do people just not peacefully die ever? They're just always brought back or necromanced, no matter what. I swear, there's always clerics or necromancers up to something. How you doing, Walrus? Welcome back. No peace, only war. I just assumed that there would be a lot of death. But yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so I think what I'm gonna do is I think I was over in this area. I'm gonna decorate some of these because I was adding stuff here. I added like a potted plant and helmets. There's a dice. I put a little puppet on this one. It's kind of creepy, but it's also cool. So yeah, I kind of remember this is where I was at before I wrapped up last week. I mean, isn't like the whole story behind like, what is the book? There's a module for 5e, Tomb of Annihilation, where you can't be like resurrected or revived. Fantastic large graveyard with no problems. Oh my goodness. Are you making fun of me, Walrus? Are you making fun of me? I mean, yeah, of course there will be problems. This thing has got all sorts of history, but it's more like there's secrets, you know, like here's a secret passage leading under the chapel from the confessional booth. Like, what's that all about, huh? But our confessionals have these like secret passages that you can activate, so I think they're pretty fun. TikTok, thank you for all the likes. Much appreciated. Much appreciated. Can't help but feeling like Walrus was clowning me. Honestly, like, I mean, subverted expectations end up doing one of two things, being some of the craziest sessions because they're like, people don't know what to expect, right? Or people are like, oh, it was supposed to be this. They assumed it'd be a trope, right? But to be honest with you, like, I mean, this graveyard, the whole point of it being so massive and like well maintained is I kind of feel like these people have a reverence for the dead. They're not necessarily, there's not many grave robbers in their culture. The graves and their sites are well maintained. And like my head canon, as I explained it earlier in previous map making sessions, was that if like these items are left on graves, after a certain amount of time, the caretaker and the clergy here, they'll like gather the items and use them to help maintain the site. So like the massive graveyards, maintenance, the digging of the holes, giving people free graves when they can't afford them, all that stuff. So to me, it is kind of funny that there could just be a massive graveyard and nothing's going on here. But knowing my players, if I had, a game going right now, they would be like, one of them would want to raise some people from the dead, either as a cleric or a necromancer, for sure. And then others would probably want to speak with dead to learn about things. Shane on TikTok asks, what are you using for the map making? This is a tool called Dungeon Alchemist. That's actually our channel, Dungeon Alchemist. It's available on Steam, and there's a free demo. You can kind of try it out before you buy it to see how it runs on your computer. But I'm actually building a massive cemetery with Dungeon Alchemist. Hey, Jester, thank you for the kind words. I appreciate that. So now I'm just kind of I made this whole plot here by hand. Like all of these plots, put them in by hand, all the like fencing and stuff. And now I'm going through decorating them with items here and there, like people leaving, just little remembrance tokens on the graves. Hey, Shane, thank you for the like, by the way. Much appreciated. Do you do any map making at all? Do you play like any tabletop games where you require a map making tool? Or maybe you just enjoy map making for the cathartic experience? Okay, let's, I think I want to add like a chess piece. Okay. 100%. Does everything look fuzzy? Might just be me. I could be tired. I think I'm going to put like the chess piece right there. Let's see here. What other things can we put on people's graves? Like little pottery wouldn't be bad, would it? Like a little clay pot or something. Could be like an effigy or something. I don't even know what you would. I'm gonna put some more flowers for sure. Be kind of neat if we had some like bouquets like laying on their sides and stuff. Yeah, the demo's pretty neat. The only limitations in the demo are there's only one biome, which is the forest biome out of our like 12 biomes available. And then you only get access to one room type, which is the tavern, and then a small set of objects for building a tavern. Additionally, the Steam Workshop tab, if you open it and you click on like, you know, the map browser or the asset browser, they're blank. So you don't get access to browsing those, which I think is silly because you could just go on Steam and browse it if you wanted to. I think we should put it there, but not allow people to open the maps. So it's like you can't open them. Does that make sense? But then you could subscribe to them preemptively, and then if you buy it, then you can't open them. That would be kind of my mentality. Anyway, trying to figure out what to do with these. I think put them in a little pot is the way to go. We'll do this. The brown one, you won't be able to see. Dirt. Stuff there. What other things should I put on graves? I'm open to suggestions from all chat feeds. We could put like a bottle of like liquor, like wine or spirits. We could put some food. A book could be something interesting. Flowers, I just did, Alex, so I'm going to try and do something a little bit different for the next couple. Flowers is a very common one, though, for sure. Incense. Ooh, I like that one, Jester. That's an interesting one. Would it be weird to put, like, a sausage on a grave? Let's put a bottle of something. Let's put a wine bottle. Oh my goodness, that's monstrous. Down a little bit. What do you think? Pretty good. And then we'll go over. I'm thinking, let's see if we can find an incense. We've got like this sensor. What could I do for it? Ooh, I've got an idea. Did this open? Tools are a great idea, actually. I've done those a few times on some of the early. I'm very open. So, open. And then this, what I'll do is I'm going to put a geyser. Geysers are dope. Watch this. You can shrink the geyser if you have collisions off and it smokes. Put a little smoke on that like it's lit incense. Pretty neat. Dice or some cards. Alex, I like where you're going. I probably have to get some cards from the workshop. I don't think we have any. But I do know we have dice, and I do have one right here. I just did a D20 on this grave right there. So, yeah, in the row before I did it. Alex, I'm so sorry. Candles are a good idea, Jester. That's a good one. Okay, let's see. Alex has said dice or some cards. I'm going to get some cards from the workshop. Like playing cards. So we have a deck of cards, playing cards, vintage playing cards, tarot cards, music box, 84 megabytes. See, this is why you should always check the size of the asset before you download it. Stuff like this will make your DA run really slowly. You got to think of every asset on the workshop like a mod, like a modification to Dungeon Alchemist, because that's what they are. They're a third-party asset. They're modifying the base tool. It's a big asset. So you want to make sure you get one that's small. This right here, 1.81 megabytes. I like this. These other playing cards by Seisu are small, but they're like spread out, and I don't want them all over. I want like a stack. So which would I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Would you have them all spread out like you were playing a game of solitaire or something on the grave? Alex, what's your input on this? Because you suggested the cards. Do you want this like a deck? A deck with a couple laid out, or just them all spread out? Jester, I'm really liking your insights, dude. They're really good ideas. So I'm assuming you play D&D from your name, and then you use Dungeon Alchemist. How long have you been using Dungeon Alchemist, Jester? So it's kind of like the wind blew them around. Okay, we'll do these ones, because then that's kind of like a mess. It's the shuffle I do, because I don't know how to do all the other fancy ones, so I just like spread it out on the table and all my friends assume I gamble like a lot because I live in Vegas, but I don't gamble. And I barely play cards or anything like that. Like, I know how to play a few games because I played them growing up, like when I was camping or at a friend's house or something like that, you know? Okay, so what other things can we put here? Music box, or we do have this dice tray we could do on one. I want to put it on this because that's more dice, right? Kind of interesting. Statuettes we could do. You got it right after it was released on Steam. Well, thank you for the long-term support. Appreciate you dropping in the stream and checking out what we're doing. To be honest, in the stream, you can learn quite a bit, even if you've had the tool a long time, because we tend to, you know, we answer a lot of questions for people viewing, and then we cover a lot of different topics. I'm thinking it's like some nuts and bolts on a grave. Would that be weird? Like they were like but tools kind of stuff too, like a toy or a doll. Yeah, I did this little puppet here. We could do some stuff right here. Let's do a toy. I don't know if I'm gonna do Eliza. Should we do this doll? Or a voodoo doll? Or a hex puppet, I mean. This is just puppets and dolls on this aisle. Nothing creepy at all. Here, let's put Eliza here, just for the lulz. And then these three all look at a converging point. So if you walk through this point, they're all looking at Jester, what's your favorite update of ours so far? Let's ask everyone. Everyone here, what is your favorite update that we've released so far? Yeah, more is great. More is great. We had hosted a couple of giveaways through his channel and his Discord. Good guy. Multi-story buildings is your favorite edition? It's an impressive edition for sure. A lot of people were happy with that. I think I'm gonna put some more ivy on one of these. Overgrown a little bit. Have some already shrunk down. Does anyone want to know how to shrink wall ivy? I'll show you a little trick. Can't normally shrink items like And it's not just putting it in the ground. I can show you how to actually. Coin. Sometimes I want to put it like on top of the. Neat. Artful Darkness wants to know. Okay, let me show you. So for the most part, any item you can put on a wall that like snaps onto the wall automatically, a lot of them don't let you resize them, right? So you'll have like torches and there's certain things that like can be resized, but for the most part, a lot of wall mounted items cannot be, like picture frames and stuff like that. So you'll run into an issue where you put them on a wall and you may want them a smaller size or a larger size, or you may want to blend a couple of them together. So there's a couple things you can do. First and foremost, you're going to want to open up the structural panel. At our next update, after it launches, you should be able to do that, Jester. We're hoping to add the ability to rotate items on all axes. So hopefully in the future, you'll be able to. Now let's see here. Is this grave with a... There's a lot of other graves, so I'm going to be going through this for sure. Is this the structural? What is selected in? Oh, graveyard. Got it. Okay, so I need to use some of these for sure. You go in and you find the freestanding walls in the structural section. Any wall will work. Just kind of put it into place, snap it into place. And then grab ivy or whatever wall-mounted object. We could do a shield for this instance. One that like snaps onto a wall. Normally this shield cannot be resized. See, great example. Okay. Ivy, another great example. It has that locked out symbol. It cannot be resized. Okay. So if you resize this wall, which can be resized, even if collisions are off or on, it can be resized. And by the way, I leave collisions on while I do this so it snaps to the wall really easily. Otherwise, it doesn't snap very well. So I just grab the wall and then I shrink it down. And if you want to shrink it even further than this, you just make sure collisions are off. That'll make it smaller, or you can size it up to make it massive. So giant size stuff. So anything that can mount on a wall for the most part can be resized using this kind of workaround. It is kind of weird, and I'm sorry that you have to do this. But I think the intention were for many of the wall-mounted objects to have a fixed size, and this kind of just supersedes it with a kind of a broken workaround. Anyway, so using this method, you can resize your objects on walls. Once you have a smaller, ivy, or whatever it is you're shrinking, then you can place it. Or even duplicate it, which makes it deal with. Nice. So it is kind of a silly workaround, but I mean, we typically get tips in every stream, but then you're just kind of following my workflow, and then I show you the things I do, which is like, this is how I would do it to get around this or fix this problem. And me, I tend to like to give more solutions than I like to, I don't like telling our community no when I can avoid it. So if I can offer a solution to a problem, I try to do it. Let's add a few tools, because it's been a minute since I've added any. Let's do like whatever this, I guess, shears. And then let's get, oh, sad. I might consider that, but that's a little bit too much Futurama Sag for me. Don't worry, there's just a weapon sitting here. For no reason, your players shouldn't be alarmed. Picture would be a good one. You know what I've done before? A locket. And put like a locket on there, right? And then you can open the locket, and then there's a picture inside. You've used the ivy a lot. Nice. Hey, Space Monkey, how you doing? Welcome back, my friend. How's life treating you? How was your weekend? You know, I'm really happy to see that our multi-stream chat is working well today, and I don't mean to like jinx it, so I'm gonna knock on wood really quick. But it seems like all platforms are working at the moment. Makes me very. You know, I'm bummed. I've noticed kind of a coffin bell. Oh yeah, you know, I did hang a bell on some of the other ones earlier. But yeah, that's a good idea. Hmm. Ah, there's enough. I don't need it. But that looks good. You just sink it down a little bit more, like inside it. Flies, they could grab it. Coffin bells, that's like a throwback for sure. Because, like, during the bubonic plague, right? If someone died, or sometimes they weren't sure if they were dead, because people would, like, be buried alive, but they would be, like, have, like, really low signs of life, like when they were sick, like breathing poorly or not breathing at all, or not like they knew how to look for, like, a pulse and stuff, too. So I imagine that a lot of people were buried alive and like recovered in the grave and woke up and but I think they found like in graves like scratch marks on the inside of them, so that's part of the reason for that. Hey Blake Canvas, thank you for the follow and the like. Much appreciated. How you doing today? Hey Mac, we're making grave offers, a less dark version of this. If you were a deity type Mac, what offering would you accept or like? Hmm. Are you wanting something in like a fantasy setting or like a something in a like a real world setting? Do some more flowers. It's been a minute. Add some more plants. Let's do outlet. down a little bit. Put a flower. Flower. You know, a lily could just be get on it. Put something else in here. Do a sunflower. Haven't done a sunflower in a minute. Oh, sunflower. There you are. Gotta shrink it down. Black, a teddy bear. We don't have a stock teddy bear object, which means I'd have to download another asset. I'll consider it. I'll consider it. Black. I know we have like a letter. These sealed envelopes could be neat though. Something like this. How many screens do I have in front of me? Shoot. Oh, a lot. A lot. At least 3. But I have my ultra wide, which is like, 3 feet across, 3.5 feet across, is split into 2 screens technically. So I have above me a massive screen that has my stream production feed and like a multi-chat. Oh man, I realized my camera feed is kind of getting overwhelmed by the light today, the green screen. But no, I've got, let's say, just 3 physical screens, but it's split up into 4 displays. And then on those, I even have more data because I have a chat feed from each stream and a video feed from each stream up because we're multi-streaming on, 5, 6 different platforms right now. How you doing, Sar? Welcome to the stream. No worries. They're welcome to ask questions like that. It's not a problem. But I do notice that my green screen's kind of on the fritz. So let's see if I can fix that. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? Where is... There it is. There's... Ooh. Back to normal. Okay. You'd want deviled eggs? Bacon would be pretty cool. Like, I guess, like if they wanted to appease me, they could bring me breakfast burritos. That's a combination of like a lot of my favorite things. You got big flour tortilla, and inside you got your eggs and bacon and potatoes and some olives, and let's put some maybe some rice and guacamole. Let's see here. I don't know what else I usually like. Oh, some peppers. Man, I love just filling my breakfast burritos up. So good. No, you should use neither. No pet names or nicknames on this stream, please. You can call me Mac, because that's my name. It's a graveyard that is becoming very, very massive, Haster. Got a lot of work left, but yeah. I'm going through and decorating like the graves and adding like little just remembrance items that people may have left after they visited. Welcome to the stream, Haster. How you doing? Yeah, here, let me give you a tour really quick of this thing. It's quite extensive. It started up in this corner here, right? We have like a little entryway, a little pond and fence. And then we did this kind of first set of graves. Cathedral, kind of parking and cathedral space. And then down here, got a beautiful garden wrapped around the entirety of the cathedral. Getting ready for work. Nice. I hope you have a great day at work. I am wonderful. It's a nice Monday morning. I'm enjoying the stream. We've got a good amount of people watching on all the different feeds and a lot of questions coming in. It's an amazing map building tool. It's called Dungeon Alchemist. This is actually the official channel of Dungeon Alchemist, and I am the community manager. My name is Mac, and it is a map making tool and immersion utility that allows you to build maps very quickly or very detailed, very intricately detailed, so you can spend, very little amount of time making maps or tons of time building maps by hand. Either way, it's an amazing tool. And we offer a free demo on Steam, so if you want to try us out, you can check it out. Lizzie, how you doing today? Welcome back. So Lizzie, there's two ways to approach roads, okay? One is you would use the terrain tool, which is kind of a freehand option. There's a couple of terrain paints that kind of lend to like a road or a path. And that's what I did over here, was these kind of, this paver stuff. Notice underneath it's green, because it has like a crack in it where not any paint was painted. So I go over it with like a gray first, and then I hit it with this one. Now, this is great for like stone paths. You could do dirt paths this way, and you can make it very small and then kind of curve it by hand, which it does take some time to kind of do, depending on how big of an area. The other is using the room tool to draw roads. So like, for instance, this circular area here, the roundabout with the fountain, is a room technically. I just made a room without any walls or objects in it. The only object in it is this fountain. Hey, Rain, thank you. Thank you for the kind words. Appreciate it, appreciate it. So what I would do using these, like this tool to make a curved road, right, is you would draw out your path, right? So let's say you wanted to make a bend in the road. So like just a simple, something like that. Oop, went a little bit farther. Does that make sense? So it has like a curve, like a little bend in the road. Or what kind of curve are you looking for? So what you do is if you generate this under the village alley set and you disable the, AI generation for all these object types, except for the floor, it will generate what is essentially a road pattern. So if you look at this is a great way to make a road path or whatever that looks, that is bent. And as you kind of play around with the room tool, you can do even more than this, like really weird wavy bends. It's just you gotta kind of play with it. Hard to explain. Mondu's really good at it. he figured out ways to like make like S curves in like paths, but it takes a lot of finagling. You got to move one side this way and the other side so much this way. So with time and a little bit of practice, it gets easier. Okay, let's get back to placing objects on the graves. Some of them I'm not going to have any on the entire row with objects, you know, but others there'll be like a lot. Okay, let's see here. Scroll? Think a scroll would be on a grave? Like someone just left like a letter or maybe a poem or something like that. Let's see here. Let's do some cutlery. Teacup. Kind of go from the bottom on my way up. Flower pots are always nice. I just feel like I've been overdoing flowers because, like, flower pot there. Got a flower pot here. We've got a flower here. Like a flower on the grave. I've been using flowers pretty regularly. They're kind of the one I use the most. That, and I would say coins and tools I use a lot of. A lute is a good one. I like a lute. Let's do a lute. Shrink it down, just put it centered on the grave. Haven't done a lute in a minute, or a shield. Let's do a shield. We can put one up against a grave, right? Kind of like this. Shrink it and then raise it up. Looks like it's kind of leaning on that grave. A pouch? Okay, let's do a pouch, Lizzie. I like that one. I like that one. We also can do a shield laying down. So let's do one like way over here. Top of the grave. And I can change the color of it or just leave it like that. Pouch. So do we want it to be just like a leather pouch or more like a decorated pouch? We also have these like kind of tea looking bags. These little tea sacks. These look like a little pouch too. Kind of like an incense pouch or something like that. Their favorite brand of tea next to a teacup. And then we'll do some pouches. Do like just a simple leather pouch. Thanks again for the suggestions, everyone. It does really help speed it up when I have all these like ideas being thrown at me really quickly, because I can go through and, you know, quickly add them. Some bay leaves here. Put some garlic or other foods. What foods would you think? Fruit. How about a drink for the homies? It's been a while since we've done a bottle of something. Let's do some grog. I did a wine bottle last, so we'll do a grog bottle this time. And the grog bottles, I've noticed, they have a different label they're a variant. So you can press tab on them and it shifts between different labels. The thing about these variants, by the way, our next update will have an icon on them that indicates if they have that ability to shift between different styles. So just like you can see when something's downloaded with this icon or a favorite with this icon, it will have a new icon that indicates if it's able to be a variant, meaning that it can shift between different decorated styles, such as tables, desks, shelves, items like these. Small toy. Even put a mug with this one. You know, surprisingly, we don't have many toys, right? We have a couple of dolls. There are some rocking horses, though, now. Let's put a rocking horse on one of the graves, which will be really sad, actually, if you think about it. That, or it could be set up so people can use it. Because, you know, the person wanted the child's rocking horse to be used. The child loved using either or. Really sad. Very sad. Goodness. Cope with it with excessive laughing because it's kind of messed up. Anyway, let's continue though. These things are helpful because they are graves and they do need to be. And it's mourning, so it's a process, right? Okay, this is this row, so we've gotten pretty much all across this row, right? Then I went through this whole section, just adding decor to every row that I could. Put a couple things on here. There was this thing I was doing on graves at the other side when I wanted them to indicate they were like a couple. I would put a linked chain between them like this. I'm gonna like raise this up. Kind of have it on their graves. You do a chessboard. Big item. Let's. I did leave a chess piece on one earlier, but a chessboard is a good idea. Yeah, we did add a bell on one of them over here, huh? Where was that? Here somewhere. I know we did it. But we could add another one, for sure. Why not a few? Where was that bell? Oh, here it is. Honestly, I don't think we have any graves that you can put any lettering on, at least that I'm aware of, that it has the option to, or cycle between some. But these graves are what is called a variant, so like when you place new ones, it's always a different style. If you press tab, it shifts between hundreds of variations, or permutations, I should say. So that's nice, but at the same time, if you want it to say something on the grave, you would probably have to use like an abstract object from the abstract menu, you would probably want to use the flat plane, something like this. And then you could insert an image of text on it, like a grave marker, and then just shrink it down and place it at the front of the grave on the headstone where the text would be. Something like that would be, inserted text in there. That does require a little bit of know-how with like a, photo editing or a computer, but it's possible. Keep those likes coming. TikTok, y'all are crazy. We have over 4,000 likes today. But you get the idea. If it was a PNG with just text, it would be a label. Now, our next update will include a new tool called the decal tool. The decal tool. Sorry, I said that a little weird the first time. And it is a new tab on this side, and it allows you to place stamps or decals on top of objects, walls, floors, etc. And there's a bunch of stock decals, things like footprints, leaves, snow patches, all sorts of variations. But you can also import your own custom decals that are PNGs. So if it's a PNG image, it can have an alpha layer that's transparent. So essentially, you could put text stamps and stuff like that on them. There will also be in the decal tool like what are they called, like runes and stuff, so you could use the runes in an essence to cover the graves with stuff, or even cracks. There's a lot of variation that will be added in the next update for sure. Let's do one color. Actually, you know what? That one's got a wood and these ones are iron, so I like the other one. What other tools? Pitchfork. JFP, where are you seeing them talk? I don't see that chat right now. Is there a chat not coming through? Weird. Yeah, I see orange space monkeys coming through from YouTube, so that's weird. But I'm not seeing JFPs. Yeah, it usually shows both in the thing. Can you relay the message for now, and hopefully it fixes itself in a bit? Finished up this row. Let's move on to these other sections. I guess I could do like this section here. And then we'll just do these kind of pizza section here. Hello, JFP. Are you in portrait or landscape, Space Monkey? Because there's 2 streams right now for YouTube. Samson on TikTok says, I'm writing my first dungeon module to DM for the first time for a group of brand new players, so this won't be a train wreck at all. Have you DM'd before, Samson? Or are you going in completely fresh? It's always interesting to write a homebrew module. Haven't DM'd before? Oh no. Well, I honestly, just a bit of advice, because I kind of fell into a trap where I kind of kept making content and I was like, it's not ready yet. It's not ready yet. It's not ready yet. And it was never ready. So my advice to you, if you're looking for any, and if you don't want any, I'm sorry, is definitely, get a bit of content kind of started out for the beginning of the story, and then kind of follow along with what your players do. You may have a general idea, right? But try to be more like bumper rails, like bumper guards on a bowling alley than, say, railroading. You just kind of nudge them in the direction of your story. you know, of the plan for your module. Unless, of course, you have a very direct story they need to follow as part of their kind of things. Oh, a one-shot? Nice. That's a good learning experience for you all. A good thing, too, before a one-shot, you may want to sit down with the group, is to maybe kind of sit down and make sure. I mean, for a one-shot, it's not always as necessary, but a lot of people will do a session 0, which is kind of just to make sure everybody's on the same page. You know, if the group is like everybody wants to be a murder hobo, then they're on the same page. Or if people are looking for, you know, like fade to black scenarios during certain sequences, then that's what they're, you know, everybody's on the same page, etc. Maybe if people have phobias, you avoid those phobias, stuff like that. So it's kind of a good idea to meet up with the group in a call and kind of go over that. Oh, good idea then, Samson. I'm glad you're going to do that. Good. And Jester's right. Being flexible is a great thing. Like being able to adapt and be flexible to the silliness and randomness your players present you is always a good thing. So just be open to the flow, you know? I hope y'all have fun. So I'm assuming, are you using Dungeon Alchemist to make the maps, or you were just kind of checking out the stream and you wanted to chat tabletop gaming with us? Because we love chatting tabletop gaming in here. Let's do a coin. A grave. Next row. Keep going. Let's do a sword. Killed me with a sword mouth. Leave that? Who does that? Okay. Sword. How about a hat? So we'll do this little felt cap. Put it too much red. Post-apocalyptic Halloween one-shot? Dang. Are you going to be playing in person or like online, Samson? Oh, Samson, thank you for the follow, by the way. I appreciate that. Let's put a bottle. Put wine. We need a wine bottle. Then let us put dirt. Dang, I could have disheveled dirt like it's been dug at. Pile. Crystals. A geode. Put a geode on it. What color should we make the geode? Partial to green. Hey, see you later, Space Monkey. Thank you for being here, my friend. Hope to see you again soon. Let's put candles. Candles. We need some candles here. Okay. I grab like there's a weird bundle of candles. Perfect. And you can make them like all these different colors. So you could change the color of the candle itself, right? Different color waxes. Or you can change the light to different colors. So it's kind of fun. Ooh, a little oil lamp. What else have we got? Okay, question for the crowd. Question for the crowd. And by the way, thank you, Ryan Egerton, for the like on Facebook. I'm assuming many of you have, DM'd to a degree, played a reasonable amount, either as a player or DM'd, right? So, what is the craziest thing that ever happened in the game? Like, what is a way your players surprised you? Did they do something you didn't expect? Did they come up with a solution you didn't plan for? And you as if you were a player, what is the way you feel you like overcame an issue or a problem as a group? Solved the problem really, fun and a unique way, and it ended up being very satisfying for you. So I'll start. In our session, one time we decided to basically, instead of go through a building because we realized the door was covered in traps and the windows were covered in traps, we opted instead to go over the building to get on top of it because I couldn't see any traps there. And then I thought when we get up on top, we'll like cut a hole in with either marvelous pigments or like break a hole, something like that, right? So or maybe even find another access point. So we went up on top of this building and we didn't realize it because we couldn't do aerial surveillance because they had like really crazy like aerial sensors that like took out anything, right? And we couldn't get close enough to get any couldn't get a familiar close enough, basically, is what we're saying, to really get any intel on the building. But when we walked over the top, there was a courtyard in the center of the building. So it was like a big square building with a courtyard in the center. And guess who was in the center? The big bad. We actually just went right to him. We surpassed all of his minions and went right to him. It was pretty funny. Because he was like chilling in the center of the compound, thinking he was safe from all the people like being, around him. So essentially we surpassed like 2 game sessions worth of encounters and just went right to the boss and beat him inside of 3 rounds. Pretty much he had 2 displacer beasts with him who were giving us some guff, and he started running away, but all of our marshals were just chasing him, and then the casters were doing everything they could to slow him down. Web or not chill touch, what is the freezing ray or whatever? The one that like if you hit them with the cold ray or whatever, then it slows them down. Anything we could to slow him down or take away his actions, or make sure he was constantly getting hit was what we were doing. And we just kind of chased him and had to fight like maybe 4 of his minions out of like 40. So there, that's my story. Where I feel we kind of circumvented the DM's plans and spoiled it, but also like kicked butt and took names. Oh, okay. Let's add some tools. I'm a big fan of the minor cap. Fun to just like put it on one of them and maybe a pitch, like a whatever, pickaxe, blah blah blah. Not a pitchfork, pickaxe. I hope everyone's furiously typing up their stories right now. DM Voracle on TikTok says, just bought the full version of DA last week, hoping to delve into it fully soon. Well, first off, DM Voracle, welcome to the Dam Fam. My name is Mac. I am the community manager for Dungeon Alchemist. We appropriately call our community the Dam Fam because when you save a map in Dungeon Alchemist, it's saved as our proprietary file format .dam, which stands for Dungeon Alchemist Map. So we kind of lean into that a little bit. Anyway, that being said, welcome to the community. If you have any questions, these streams are hosted AMA format. Any stream you catch us live, you can tune in and ask questions about Dungeon Alchemist. Whether you have questions about how to do something in a map, you're looking for something specific, struggling with exports, anything at all, you can ask me. And in chat, I will usually, answer within a minute or two. Otherwise, my moderators or other community members usually chime in and provide assistance as well. So welcome to the community, and if you need any assistance, here for you. Additionally, great resource, our Discord is a great place to be. You can ask questions or get support there pretty much 24 hours a day. Myself, other staff members, moderators, community members love to provide guidance if people are, just trying to build something specific and maybe learning the ropes. You can find our Discord through our website, which there is a link on our profile for our website if you're interested. We can't share links in the chat here, unfortunately, on the TikTok. So, Voracle, you're thinking of diving in next week. Are you planning to build a certain map? Got something in mind, or you just kind of gonna see what you can do? Nothing in mind. Cool. Honestly, I kind of take that approach sometimes. I don't always have something in mind when I go to build, right? But then by the end of it, it usually becomes like a very clear, big map with lots of details. That makes sense. Oh goodness. Okay, we got some chat coming in. Let's see here. One moment. A huge group of chat came. Only started DMing recently, but it's a case of if you have choices, prepare for something that wasn't even going to be a choice. Well, that's funny, right, Lizzie? Because players can always, throw a curveball at you. Oh my goodness, right? Atlam, the door. Oh no, okay, so Atlam over on Twitch says, I think the funniest memory was of a party spending in-game hours to figure out how to safely open a door before eventually using the handle and realizing it was unlocked the entire time. Oh no. Oh no, and that's funny, that happens so often because you'd run into a few traps and you start thinking everything has a trap or everything's locked. You run up to a few locked doors. So the first thing I always do is just look for traps, right? I often will look for and identify the traps with the help of our rogue. I'm the artificer wizard and he's the fighter rogue. So Basically, between the two of us, we have the ability to pick most locks, disable traps. Hey, thank you, Len. I appreciate the kind words. How you doing today? Oh my goodness. I just forgot. I was trying to read Ryan Egerton's message here. Rolled past it. I once used DA to create a giant's table map where players were the size of walnuts compared to everything on the field for cooking a battlefield with a pie fiend. The goal was to gather specific ingredients to create a stew, and for the panel of judges, I was expecting the players to scramble for ingredients, but instead of it turning into a race for the good stuff, they divided and conquered. Half slowed or KO'd the pie fiend's minions. One provided teleportation and even teleported a minion off the table. Really? Did they vortex warp him? Was that what it was? As I recall, one or two remaining gathered ingredients almost died incidentally while absolutely wrecking the pie fiend. In the end, the fiend tried to cheat with one of his abilities to create a sinfully divine pie, but the players had so completely lopsided the contest in their favor that it barely made a difference. The fiend got almost no ingredients for his stew and almost lost by default. Oh, that's hilarious. That's hilarious. That is great. That is so cool. My Kenku monk parkours up walls, activates a movable rod to act as a perch for ranged weapons. Coolest move I've pulled off so far. I mean, that's way dope, actually. What kind of ranged weapons does your monk use? Len, by the way, the map making tool you're looking at is Dungeon Alchemist. It's available on Steam. This is actually the official Dungeon Alchemist channel, so I wanted you to be aware. You know, this is our official channel, and we're showing off how the product works, but also providing guidance and teaching people about map making and just giving people a place to hang out and vibe. Stars, dart, spears, furniture, pretty much anything. Do you ever throw people's like arrows back at them? Oh, cool, Len. I wasn't sure. My bad. My bad. I try to remember so many names, but it's kind of one of those things unless we've interacted like tons of times, I kind of have a hard time remembering every community member's name. Ooh, these keys look neat. Let's put a key. Wait, don't we have a keys? Oh, I remember now. I remember that. Yep. I remember now. Welcome back. Kind of like the grouping of keys. What other things should we put on this? Let's keep adding stuff to graves. More suggestions. Let's keep them coming. Let's do another pouch. I haven't done one of those in a while. Let's do this one. And more stories about your players' shenanigans. Flowers, always a good suggestion. Kobolds, gnomes, Skyrim, children, anything throwable. Mega Mango. If it's within reach and I can throw it, I throws it, okay? We do have a locket with a photo in it. We could do a locket. I've done a couple lockets so far, but once in a while it's okay to have them. See how there's like a photo in there? You can even put custom photos in these if you wanted. Oops, I put it in the wrong one. So like if you had an image you wanted to place in it, you technically could. It's actually really fun for like immersive shots when you do stuff like this because you can zoom in really close and have like a picture of your player there to mess with them or something. Uh-oh, I froze DA. A lot of objects in Dungeon Alchemist you can add custom images to. Like letters and paintings, and there's like parchments you can put like text on or like add an image of text, I mean. This is going to be a minute. Man, though, I would like if I only had one photo of someone and they were dead, I would like want to keep that photo. You know what I mean? I know that's selfish of me, I guess. But yeah, I inserted that image in there. You can see it's just like a snail shell, just like a random image I had on hand. This actually is just an image, like a JPEG, so this could just be photo editing, really. By the way, like you know, 3D as far as learning 3D, Len, is it's you know, it's a little bit tedious at first, but I think once you start, it's like a snowball. It becomes really easy. There's a few people in our community who started with tools like Tinkercad and then jumped into like Blender, and now there's people who have made hundreds of thousands of objects and shared them with our community that only started like a year and a half ago. So I wouldn't let it, like, the fact that you know how to do 2D art is probably already gives you a leg up, right? We have the asset importer. You're just intimidated. I get it. One thing that you may want to consider if you're interested in making assets for Dungeon Alchemist in particular, in our Discord, we have a whole group of asset creators who provide support and guidance. So if you're making something and struggling with like getting it to upload, or maybe you're struggling with the asset tool, you know, maybe you can get a little bit of guidance, support. Airbrush is a good one. Let's do that. We've got the hairbrush here. Haven't done something like that in a while, so yeah. I think I'm gonna do the paintbrush. Yeah. We'll do a palette, like a dirty palette. Like the palette they used for years, right? Okay. Let's see here. Perfume. You can do a perfume bottle. Yes, when you're uploading stuff to the Steam Workshop, you can set it for private, friends only, or public. So when you're importing assets to the to Dungeon Alchemist, you don't even have to publish them actually. So technically, you could just keep them in your local build. But the problem is, if you publish that map to the workshop, then someone will try to open it, and then those assets won't work. So just keep that in mind if you try to share your maps or something. But there are people in our community who make assets and like sell them as packs or add them on their Patreon, you know, so they'll make maps and they add custom assets into the maps. So their maps have exclusive assets that are really neat and kind of different from the stock object set. Commissions are possible. Yeah, people in our community make and sell maps all the time and run Patreons and stuff like that. And we're totally fine with it too. Our legal documentation outlines that in our terms of service. Article 4.1 basically states that we're cool with you using Dungeon Alchemist for personal use and even for business use, and you can use the normal license without any issues or restrictions unless you surpass 100,000 in annual gross turnover tied to Dungeon Alchemist related, you know, art. So if you make maps for a module, say, and you start selling the module in a Kickstarter, and the Kickstarter makes 100,000, you need a commercial license. Knife Ear Knight, thank you for the follow. Much appreciated. Mega Mango says, let's see. One fight an enemy was trying to escape, so our fighter had an NPC that was an enlarged at the time half giant throw him like 400 feet in the air after them. Then nat 20'd the throw and the player attack, and it worked. Wow, that's awesome. That's cool. So someone in an NPC in your group was enlarged and shucked them, and they got a nat 20 on that. That's really cool. Hey, Angelo, how you doing? Welcome back. Do some more flowers. It's been a minute since I've done like a flower pot. I want to do a sunflower. Ooh, go yeah, go yeah. Grab a. Say what? Oh man, that's heckin' high in the air, right? Did anyone have like feather fall or something to help them get down safely? Oh no, they got hurt, Mega Mango. How much damage did they take? What program is this? Knife Ear Knight? It is called Dungeon Alchemist. That's actually, we're the official channel for Dungeon Alchemist. This is our, I'm the community manager, and we're hosting a stream called Mapmaker Monday. Every Monday I build a map live and provide AMA support and guidance for our community. So if you have any questions about what you're seeing, you want to learn more, maybe you just got a copy and you want to get some feedback or insights on your maps or, you know, anything. We're here to provide guidance support in real time. It's kind of like taking a course from Professor Mac. Row of carrots on a grave or leeks? Why is that I don't understand that though. What is that something in particular? A row of carrots? Like growing carrots? Or like laying down carrots? Whoa, you just became the #1 fan in the fan club? Oh, you sent a heart, Leon or Len. Thank you so much. That is so cool. I don't get those very often, so I appreciate it. Just so you know, though, like, because we're like the official channel and stuff, we don't necessarily need like tips or donations or anything. So you don't have to do that. I appreciate it though, but it's not necessary. While I very much love it though. So thank you. Let's see, planting veggies, just a row of veggies growing. Hey, Arteris, welcome back. How you doing today, my friend? So we got followed this last week by someone named Henchman37. And when I saw that, I almost died. Because that's a Venture Brothers reference. And it's like one of my favorite, like, you know, just like Adult Swim cartoons of all time. Ophidian, welcome, welcome. How hard is it to transfer programs like to maps to programs like Fantasy Grounds and such? Easy as pie. In fact, we have an export option for Fantasy Grounds built right into our export menu. Let me show you. Map is so big. I may need to save it and close DA. Uh-oh. Don't crash. So when you export for Dungeon Alchemist, you have a series of options. Fantasy Grounds. It gives you a little guideline that you can click on here. It opens up a page on our website and gives you guidance step by step on how to export the map from Dungeon Alchemist and then import it into Fantasy Grounds. On this menu, you could set whether you want it to be an image or a video, depending on the platform. Some platforms do not support animated maps at this time, but with Fantasy Grounds and Foundry, we do support animated maps. You can set the perspective, so is it just a flattened top-down map, or is it more of a 3D perspective where it pops up, kind of has a fisheye effect? You can set the quality. If it's for a virtual tabletop, I highly recommend staying at 72 or 150 DPI, depending on the size of the map, because Foundry, Fantasy Grounds, Roll20, they all have file size limits and resolution limits, which you can surpass really quickly if you use print quality DPIs. So these higher quality, high quality, very high quality, those are intended for print, not for virtual tabletop. You can set the border. Do you want a large border around the map so it kind of feels centered, or do you want no border so it's right at the edge? When you do the border like this, the trees and stuff can get cut off, so some people don't like that. You can do color or no color, so you can do grayscale. And then lastly, if you have a multi-level map, you can set and choose which layers of it export. This map is not a multi-level map, so it doesn't have anything like that. You can choose to have the grid present on the map or not. It's pretty nice. Did the stream crash for anyone else or just Arteris? Oh, that's weird. I'm sorry. Bummer. Okay. So basically, we offer numerous export options, whether it's for virtual tabletops, universal VTT or the UVTT format, images, video, print exports, or even order for print and delivery through our partner Kraken War Games. So you can do all sorts of methods, whether it's play in person, TV tabletops, projector tabletops, virtual tabletops, and we support dozens of them with both the big four labeled here and the universal VTT format. Okay, back to map building. What I'm going to do is save this map. I haven't saved in a minute. Yeah, above VTT is great. So if for some reason you missed some of my demonstration or explanation, please let me know and I will re-explain as much as I can. Okay, let's keep a decorating. Let's keep a decorating. I want to let's put some tools. What is this thing? Artificer's Blade. Sure, why not? Kind of looks like a bill hook. What else do we got in here? Let's look at carpenters. Let's put a carpenter mallet on this. And then do a statue, but shrink it down. Or we could do these the busts are pretty neat. Little whittle. Someone whittled it and dropped it on their grave. That is really weird that the stream dropped. Probably just an internet hiccup. Sorry about that, y'all. Farming tools. Isn't that a scythe and this is a sickle? And the small one's a sickle? Bowl of carrots. Potatoes, there we go. You ever drink coffee sometimes, then it just makes you feel a little rough in your stomach? Hey, we'll see you later, Jester. Thanks for being here. Hope you have a wonderful week. Let's put something alchemical. We changed that. Put like a mandrake on one of them. That'd be funny. Little doll. Let us see. Oh. Boat. Pretty good. Looks really good, actually. Hey, Houston Beer and Pretzel Wargaming. Welcome back. How has things been for you as of late, my friend? Hammer. Enter this. What else we got? Tongs and a blacksmith hammer is a good combo. I like that. One of these. Nice. That's very cool. Best of luck with that, my friend. Let's see here. Don't have any flowers in this section yet. So let's add roses. Because the base of roses. Could add some wilted looking ones that have been here a while. Weird, this vase you can change all the colors, but the wilted one you can't. Two pink or yellow roses. Black rose. Ooh, that's cool. Very dope. Very dope indeed. Like it a lot. Honeypot, maybe they were an apiarist. Or we could do a beehive. Obviously doesn't need to be an occupied beehive. Though it could be. What other things can we put on gray? Starting to get run out of ideas for things on graves. We only have this like pizza section and left, so I want to try and get some stuff, all this done today. 20 minutes. Let's crank out some decorations, shall we? Let's put a shield. Haven't done a shield in a minute. Let's use... make it. Why not? Then, is there like a speaker? Yes. You're next. That convention sounds really cool. I think they're working through like a bunch of reported bugs now because basically our entire team was out of office for like almost a month. Basically right after we pushed out Fun with Objects Part 1, they did like a 2-week blitz where they did a bunch of patches and hot fixes, and then various devs kind of and artists scattered their time off. So our dev team was kind of fractured and missing, critical people because they needed some time off. And now everyone's back in the office. So like last week they put out a big patch, or a week or two ago, because there was a lot of feedback around stairs and how people weren't happy that you couldn't like resize them anymore or raise and lower them anymore, like on a whim, like sink them into the ground, or rotate them on like fully instead of just on 4 corners. It was like, anyway, if you disable collisions now when you have a stair, it is able to rotate. Now with that in mind, or you can sink it in the ground or whatever. But with that in mind, they are looking at all these reports that came in over the last month and doing testing and fixes. I know that Quentin, one of our developers, told me he was doing a bunch of little fixes, and so was Carl. He said he was working on some fixes as well. There isn't an ETA for sure at this point for Part 2. All we kind of have is we hope to get it out by the end of the year. Like, that's the hope, but I don't know if it'll happen. Well, Part 1 took us the better part of a year to do. So Part 2 only taking us like 5-6 months. Isn't bad. With a team of 10, and about a third of that is administrative, and myself being the community manager who doesn't do any development or art. We have a handful of artists who make assets and effects and stuff, and then we have a handful of devs who both patch and hotfix things, as well as develop new features and add-ons and stuff for future updates. I think, honestly, Part 2 is going to include a lot of stuff. So it's going to include the ability to rotate objects on any axes. Most likely should be included there. We're hoping to maybe even add mirroring objects, right? I would say also the decal tool will be making it into Fun with Objects Part 2, among a bunch of new objects, improvements, and quality of life features, and whatever hot fixes. So there's a bunch of key critical things, but the main one I would say most people are angling for is the ability to rotate an object on any axes. If you look at our upvoting, It's a website where we host our roadmap and suggestion board, so you can leave suggestions or vote and comment on other people's suggestions. There's literally over 1,000 plus suggestions. Many of them, if they get upvoted a lot, or we, a lot of interest in it, and it's something we can viably do, we add it to our planned updates. So things like select multiple objects by dragging, object rotation, placing doors without walls, so freestanding doors. The decal tool, group, merge, and save objects together and make compound objects. It's made in Unity, and they use a bunch of different tools from end to end, everything from asset creation. Like they use like 5 or 6 tools for our asset creation. And then, but for the most part, everything's done in Unity. I don't know what language is used in it. Above my pay grade. But yeah, there's quite a bit on the way. Okay, back to decorating. Oh. Clay pot. Do a backpack. They were like an explorer, right? Have any of you ever tried watching Home Alone, but watching it as a horror movie instead of a comedy? Is Unity mostly C? Good to know. See, I don't do any of the development, so I don't know. It's way above my pay grade. I just don't know how to do it. Probably should learn, huh? Because they're Saved by the Bell. That's all right. Because I'm saved by the... Was it Lizzie that wanted leaks earlier? Afraid of leaks. Because it's kind of like Saw before Saw was a thing. And if you put it under the lens of a child doing it, that's even crazier. Some carrots growing, though. Probably be inadvisable to pull and eat those carrots. I don't know. It's just kind of like a thriller, kind of horror, sadistic thriller horror, where a young child lays traps that he had an elaborate plan for, premeditated plan, to essentially torture and possibly kill intruders who came into his home when all he had to do, I mean, granted, the phones were out on his street, but he went to the church at one point. He could have just asked, like, the priest if he could use a phone and talk to the police. Like, no, he wanted to torture those dudes. He chose to do this. All I'm saying is he's kind of sadistic, and if you look at it through that lens, also, like, what does Kevin McAllister's dad do that he can afford a vacation for his entire family, brother, their kids, pays for everyone, all the lodging and the travel, and then he has this amazingly huge multi-story home in the Chicago suburbs. He's an accountant for the mob. It's just funny because the actor who plays the dad, he plays an accountant for the mob in another show, I think. So that's why it's funny. It's just never mind. But no, Home Alone is one of my like all-time favorite films, and it is pretty funny to me how like, oh, it's a kid doing it, so it's silly and not a horror movie. Psychological. Moose, what's up? That's me. I am the community manager. I manage myself. I'm just kidding. Don't we have like a stocks of grain? We could lay a few of these out. Honestly, I'm just trying to come up with stuff now. I'm running out of ideas and we're down to like the last 20 graves. I'm really just trying to fill it with anything I can. Let's do another potted plant. Darn it. Oh, I haven't done a letter in a minute. A chair? Instead of a potted plant, cover the grave. On the grave. Shrink it down a little bit and we'll double it up. Someone just spread some wildflowers, seeds on there. Moose, were you answering a question for someone? I don't know who you were talking to when you said that. I'm confused. Let's do some more ivy in a minute. We could do like some dead ivy in a grave. Something like that. Oh, gotcha. Oh, gotcha. You know, that's funny, but It didn't exist back then. I don't even think the term community manager existed back then. I get what you're saying now, though. I was lost for a minute. When I shrink this. Wish we had some of this laying flat, like on the ground. Soon enough, eh? Being able to rotate objects onto any, like, side will be a big deal when it becomes available. I've done a few pin cushions, actually, throughout here. There's one right there, for instance. A button, a pin cushion, and a thing of yarn. Let's see here. Let's do a hat. I haven't done a hat for a minute. Let's do a top hat. Fancy. Nice. Let's change the ribbon color, though. Make it teal. I like that. I'm going to finish these couple rows here. Some wilted, like, plants in here. Looks like some, like, someone planted flowers, but they died. Even a little bit of webs, right? We'll take the spider web and we'll shrink it down. Put it up in this stuff there. Not too many graves get this way, get unmaintained, because the caretaker walks the graves, you know, once a month and cleans everything up. Sometimes things get overlooked. Or maybe the people who, you know, manage the grave want it left like that for whatever reason. Haven't done an artist one in a while. We could just do that. Ivy, and then stool by this grave there. one more decoration on. Do a bottle. Okay, so we went through today and decorated tons of graves. So all the graves in these vicinity, at least once every few graves, there is a decoration, sometimes more than others. But over the course of the entire graveyard, there's quite a few graves that either need maintenance or have offerings on them. That's pretty cool. So next session, when we come back, we will be going back into these graves, which were a lot of them were done by hand. I made each grave site by hand, designing and what it would be and what was the marker for all of them. These were more like pauper graves, those that don't necessarily have a lot of money. Their friends or family will dig their grave site and bury them and even make their headstone most cases. Now, that said, I'm going to start adding more of these kind of regular headstones going forward. So it'll be less of these, but it'll be an intermingled amount of them over here as I kind of slowly taper into fancier graves. So it'll be like a couple of rows of intermingled and then that. I also need to fill in a bunch of these columbariums here. So the columbariums are going to get some items in them next session. We got a couple rows of columbariums to fill out with, trinkets, knickknacks, and then a few mixed rows. I might even just start mixing them in here, where I kind of make them fancier graves mixed in with the pauper graves, and then slowly it becomes more fancy. I was also thinking of leaving large swaths with nothing in them, just like a few spaces where there's like a walkway through it, but there's no graves there yet. Like it's all parceled for it, but no one's been buried there. So that would give me a way to kind of speed up the map making process for this build, but also make it seem reasonable, like that there will be graves there someday. Over here in this section, I also am considering putting a little park, like a little, like, not necessarily a play park, more like just a beautiful like garden and a gazebo and maybe a fountain and just like a place for people to go and reflect. And, maybe after a funeral, they can, do a little meeting there or something. I don't know. It'd be neat to have skeletons, zombies, ghosts, and wraiths, maybe a lich animated walking around the graveyard. That would be rather interesting. Something like that could always be added by anyone after I share this map on the workshop. I think ultimately I'm going for just, it is a, well-respected grave site, and many people, have a reverence for their dead in this community. There really isn't any grave robbings or anything like that. I honestly tend to not do a lot of tokens or NPCs on my maps unless there's like someone to interact with, like a shopkeep or something, because I want people to be able to put their tokens, either in person or in their virtual tabletop. But that is a good suggestion, though. Man, there's so much of this map left, but at the same time, we're chewing through it. So this section's pretty much all done now, because I've done all the lighting, I've done plants, and we've added offerings. So it's on to other sections. So I'd say we just keep continuing down this until this is done, and then start on these others. Had a fun stream with y'all today. Ugh. If you enjoyed the stream, make sure you hit that that follow or subscribe button, depending on your platform. Alternatively, if you could make sure you share, like, anything like that, the stream before we end. That way, it gets out there to more faces, more eyeballs, and we can get more people checking out Dungeon Alchemist and learning about it. As a small indie company, we don't do a ton of advertising or marketing, so to speak, other than really word of mouth. So when you tell your friends and family and players about Dungeon Alchemist, it does mean a lot to us. It helps us, grow as a company and sustain, Dungeon Alchemist development over time. Honestly, yeah. I do think that these areas will still be mostly kind of similar to this or this, but over here, this area is going to be all mausoleums. Like either terraced grave sites that are raised up with like a stair to get up to them, and then like a mausoleum or family plots that are like just this is a gated off zone, gated off, but lots of mausoleums where everything's kind of gated off and private. So you would either have to be, you know, like invited or know the family or know how to get into it. You know what I mean? Hey, Jim, thank you for hanging out. You're always welcome here. Hope you have a wonderful week, everyone. Thank you for hanging out with us during Mapmaker Monday. Our next stream is on Wednesday. That is office hours, and that stream is exclusive to our Discord. If you would like to participate, just check out our Discord server. We're getting links dropped across the various platforms now. If you're watching us on TikTok, you can go to our profile, go to our website, and find our Discord there. From the website links and social media links and whatnot there. Aside from this, on Wednesday, the stream starts at 10 a.m. Pacific. That's 1 p.m. Eastern. Let's see, 5 p.m. UTC. It's roughly 2 hours, and we hang out in our Discord, provide real-time AMA support, bounce ideas off of each other as GMs and DMs, encounter ideas, map ideas, stat blocks, homebrew, etc. And we tend to discuss, what's going on in our campaigns, silly things our players have been up to. And we also open up maps that people share on the Steam Workshop and look at them and discuss them and kind of showcase them. So people will often attend the stream and be like, hey, I just finished a map and uploaded it. Can you take a look? We'll take a look. So if you're interested in having your maps kind of, reviewed by me, have me take a look at it, see what I think about it, have other members kind of critique it, etc. Or you just want to hang out with like-minded GMs and DMs and have a place to vibe and hang out, it's a great place to be. So hopefully we'll see you here on Wednesday in our Discord, because that is not a multi-stream like today where we're on all our platforms. It is Discord exclusive. The stream after that will be Saturday, and that is the Dam stream. We're going to be a multi-stream again. We'll be hanging out at noon p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern, and 7 p.m. UTC. Hopefully, we'll catch some of you at those next couple of streams. And a quick reminder, our current Dam challenge is hospitality. There was some confusion around what the theme was and what the rules were. It'll be traditional rules, and the theme is hospitality. I will be announcing the winner from the last challenge, the garden challenge, and posting that theme in the Discord by this afternoon, so you'll also have a reference there. If anyone is wondering what the Dam challenge is, we host a bi-weekly map-making contest on our streams and in our Discord called the Dam Challenge. You use the theme as inspiration. The current theme is hospitality, and you make a map of any shape or size using that theme as inspiration. Once you're done with the map, you submit it to our Dam Challenge channel in our Discord. Make sure you follow the rules pinned at the top of the channel. Otherwise, your map does not qualify. If your map is qualified as an entry, then it'll be showcased on the Dam Challenge stream. If you're the winning map, it's the first map featured, and you get a $10 Hero Forge gift card. So the first map featured usually gets about 20-30 minutes of FaceTime, which means a lot of eyes on your work, kind of get to flex your map maker muscle, so to speak. And remember, the challenge isn't really about challenging others, it's about challenging yourself. As a map maker, it's kind of fun to try new things and maybe make a map you hadn't considered of in a theme you hadn't really considered for your campaign, and then end up using it for your campaign. Anyway, the whole point of the challenge is so you can grow as a cartographer and DM. So anyway, thank you for everyone participating today. We're going to run a quick Dungeon Alchemist themed ad, and then we're going to wrap up the stream. If you have any questions between now and Wednesday or Saturday stream, feel free to ping me on social media, on any of our Dungeon Alchemist accounts, or drop into our Discord and spin up a thread in the question forum or the support forum where you can get guidance, pretty much all day, every day. Thank you again for being here. Again, my name is Mac, the community manager for Dungeon Alchemist. We'll see you next time I give a damn. Mac out. We're going to run that quick ad and then we'll wrap up. Bye. See you later, everyone.
But can it handle curves?
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 Dungeon Alchemist, the AI-powered map-making application for role-playing games, now comes with both round and diagonal walls. Create amazing professional maps for your players in seconds. Get it now on the Steam store.
Thanks again, everyone, for tuning in. I hope you have an amazing week. We'll see you back on Wednesday with our office hour stream in Discord, or Saturday with the Damn stream. Thanks again for tuning in. Have a wonderful week. See you next time. Mac out. Bye.